Good morning, next Pharma. I'm Alyssa Fenoglio, VP Global Head of Digital Commercial at Teva. I'm back on the stage for year 2, and a lot has changed since I was here a year ago, right? A lot has changed with Gen AI in our world, and it's the perfect time to re-examine the role of humans amidst all of this technological change. So today we're going to tackle the question, how do we harness the power of AI yet retain a consumer and a human focus? So let's dive in. Eric Topol is a renowned cardiologist. He's a digital health expert. He's a famous author of the books Deep Medicine and The Patient Will See You Now. And he famously quoted, "AI will not replace physicians, but physicians using AI will replace those that don't." AI is not here to eliminate us. It's here empowering us to embrace it. And in healthcare, it's a tool that will augment human expertise. And furthermore, when you combine human expertise with AI, people will be leaping ahead within the industry. So we need to reframe AI from threat to opportunity. Ginny Rometty is the former CEO of IBM, and she famously predicted AI will change 100% of jobs in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's not tech jobs, that's not IT, that's not data science, that's not computer engineers. This is all functions in all industries. The universal impact of AI on our industry is imminent, it's now. We must prepare ourselves, our teams, and our workforce for the future. And the opportunity is massive. The McKinsey Global Institute estimates 60 to 110 billion in annual value created by Gen AI across the entire pharmaceutical value chain. It's accelerating drug discovery, it's increasing efficiency in clinical trials, and it's improving how we engage with our customers. The majority of that value is sitting in commercial and R&D. And we heard a lot of us are commercial in the audience, but we also have medical here. We have a huge role to play in capturing this value. So the time is now for us to move forward and capturing some of that value within the industry. And our consumers, our HCPs, have already gone digital. Viva predicts 70% of our HCPs are digital natives now, and over half of them are using Gen AI in their workflows, regardless of what their institution or their hospital is providing for tools. Medscape and HIMSS did a study on the top use cases that physicians are using Gen AI for in their workflows. So first, of course, they're automating some of the tasks like transcribing patient notes. But they're also scanning medical literature, they're using it to aid in diagnosis, they're using it to analyze x-rays and scans, and to craft patient communications, just like the marketers here in the room. Our HCPs, and we heard this earlier, are humans and consumers, and they're engaging with other industries. They're offering a far superior experience than the one that we're offering in our industry. So there's a huge opportunity to meet them where they are, and what they're looking for is AI and digital in the workflows and in how we engage with them. And we have to remember, patients are consumers too, and they're embracing AI for health. Over 1 in 3 patient consumers today are using AI for health. Press Ganey analyzed millions of interactions from patient data on how they're using Gen AI. Some of the top use cases, they're researching medical conditions, they're exploring treatment options, they're finding new doctors, and they're booking appointments. Patients are embracing AI whether we meet them there or not. So it's our job to meet them there with frictionless, seamless experiences that, yes, we've been talking about for quite a long time. So we have quite the opportunity with our customer base, with our tech-savvy physicians, with our empowered patients, to serve them better as an industry. And so while our customer base is quite digital and AI savvy, we're behind as an industry in digital. McKinsey reports that we trail digital leaders in other industries by 2 to 3 times across every single dimension, from strategy to culture to capability. And while we're still playing catch up on digital maturity, Gen AI is here, and we're also trying to advance Gen AI at the same time that we're progressing on digital. and only 5% of our life science companies report that they realize true financial value from Gen AI activities. The good news is 90% of us are piloting. So yes, we know what Gen AI is, we are using it, but there's a huge execution gap from pilot to scale to realizing meaningful financial value. Why? It's not technology. It's internal barriers. It's legacy processes, system, mindset, belief, and behaviors that we need to change. There's one more gap that we must acknowledge, and that's trust. Only 18% of Americans trust the pharmaceutical industry and rate it in a positive light. We rank 25 out of 25 dead last in industries from a positivity ranking. That is below the federal government and oil and gas. This is a Gallup poll. A little surprising, right? So what this reminds us is our stakeholders are humans. And all the transformation that we're trying to drive needs to have integrity, ethics, transparency built in from the very beginning in order to be successful. We need to put humans in the center of all of our decision making and all of our priorities as an industry to build back that trust. So we've heard a lot about the challenges. There's a solution coming. And yes, the use of AI is imminent to survive in the future as a species. The workforce is changing. Our customer base is digital and AI savvy, yet our maturity in digital and AI is low as an industry, and the trust in our industry is low. So how do we turn this around? We rebalance what we're doing by putting the human back at the center. The human algorithm is a people-first framework to empower transformation, and it helps us retain human centricity while still delivering business results, which we have to still deliver. And it's based on 4 drivers that will help guide us. And we'll walk through examples for each of the 4 drivers. The first one is culture and capability is the code. This is the source code to unlock adaptability for organizations. And this is building that internal muscle, building a supportive culture, and investing in capabilities. It really is the foundation for everything else we do. Tech with intent is all about using tech for purpose. Are we enabling our business strategy? Is it solving real human or business problems? Or are we just integrating tech for tech's sake? Design for humans, deliver for business. Are we crafting solutions that are delightful for our patient consumer HCPs? And in turn, when we focus in that way, we deliver results. The last is trust as infrastructure. And it's not bolted on at the end of a project or an initiative or a transformation. This should be integrated from the very beginning. Ethics, transparency, integrity from the very, very start. This underpins everything that we do as an industry. And we saw the scores. We really need to ramp those back up. So these 4 drivers are designed to build internal readiness that will then relate to external relevance and impact with our customer base. So now we'll walk through each of these with real examples on how they're coming to life. Culture and capability is the code. This is again building our internal muscle, building our culture, investing in skill building, changing mindsets and beliefs. The World Federation of Advertising conducted a cross-industry study about overperforming and underperforming industries or companies. And they found that overperforming organizations invest at a much higher rate in capabilities. This is skills versus underperformers. These companies know that fostering a culture of learning and supporting their organization is going to help drive an easier transformation and adoption of new ways of working. In contrast, if everyone's not speaking the same language and there's no skills, your transformation is going to falter. So let's look at an example. I think everyone in this room is familiar with Johnson & Johnson. It's a world leader in healthcare with a 135-year history and over 140,000 employees. And they have top talent. And as most big companies know, and all of us in the room, many of us are from big companies, you have to stay relevant and continuously reinvent yourself with all of these transformations that are coming your direction. So they knew they needed to continuously reinvent themselves. They also knew AI literacy was required for not just special jobs, all jobs required it, core jobs and specialized roles. And they'd also conducted a recent Gallup poll where it said 53% of employees did not feel prepared to apply this new technology on their day jobs. So their C-level got involved. Their CEO publicly states that they have a learning day once a year. He talks about how they're fostering a culture of learning on Gen AI. The CIO is also very vocal about investing in this culture. This C-level support is really important to drive this much faster. They hired a chief learning officer. And they built this term called bilingual employee. And what this means is that it's employees taking their innate expertise in a function and coupling it with technology to then elevate their performance for themselves and for their company. I like that term. I think we should pick it up. And so they launched 2 core programs. One was their core training, which was required before any employee started using the internal Gen AI tools and moving into things like prompt engineering. And they also have a specialized training that they offered in a boot camp style for other topics like AI, automation, and augmented reality. And the results were stellar. 40% of their entire 140,000 employees completed the core training, and this is just in a short period, about a year. 10% completed the specialized training, and their learning and development score is world-class at 80. So J&J really understood the need to invest in this culture and capability to provide a much easier acceleration of digital and AI adoption within their organization. Now the next example is tech with intent, and this is all about making sure that your technology efforts are supporting business strategy or solving real problems. So this case is about Neutrogena Skin 360. And so Neutrogena is the #1 dermatologist recommended brand. It's sold direct to consumer, and there's a 60-year history and about 650 products globally. And the problem they were trying to solve was the trial and error skincare. I'm sure many in the room has gone through this. There's too many products out there. Which one's the right one for me, especially if you're trying to decide from home without any sort of database insight or dermatologist insight. So in their MVP, they actually developed a skin scanner, but it was a hardware device. It cost $50 and it had to plug into your phone. So it was an extra burden in the consumer journey. They launched this at CES, and while it did provide a dermatologist-level skin analysis, they received feedback from the customers this wasn't working. It was expensive, it was clunky, it had to be added onto the phone. So they democratized and came up with a new solution in their next round with an app and a website. And you can try out the website, I did it myself, if you're interested. And this has an AI-powered coach, and you still get that at-home dermatologist recommended analysis of your skin. And the results, again, were phenomenal. In this case, the customers that adopted a 360 regimen that were the recommended products from the skin scanner increased revenue. They also increased conversion by 6% year over year. So this is a perfect example of solving for a real problem. Customers didn't know what product to buy, and it led to business results. The next concept is about designing for humans, delivering for business. And this is all about joyful, delightful experiences that you might want to participate in. And we found actually, McKinsey found over a 5-year period that they studied, that customer experience leading organizations doubled revenue compared to lagging customer experience organizations. So focusing on the customer does pay with regards to results. And these leading companies knew to invest in the long term, and the expansion of the existing customer base, as Wayne was mentioning earlier. So let's look at an example. Livando is a digital health platform that helps patients manage chronic conditions like hypertension or diabetes. And this specific use case is focused in Houston, Texas, and the health payer system in Houston, Texas, where diabetes was the #1 prevalent condition and also 4 times more expensive than any other patient within that healthcare system. Meanwhile, the diabetes patients were overwhelmed by data and how to manage their diabetes. From blood glucose meters, food tracking, exercise tracking, all their data is in all these different places. So Livando offers an all-in-one interface where you're integrating food tracking, medication tracking, exercise tracking, blood glucose meter, CGM. You're connected, you can connect your data to your doctor, your nurse if you like. You have a live coach, you have an AI coach, you're getting AI insights to nudge behavior change. So this all-in-one, seamless, frictionless experience was quite useful for the patients, and they improved their health outcomes. Actually, the NPS score from the patients participating in this program was 92. For those in customer experience, that is phenomenal. Netflix is 68, and a normal healthcare system is 12. So, yeah, I think they did pretty well there. Furthermore, the patients with diabetes participating in this program reduced health costs by 28%. So health improved, costs were reduced. And then the company was so successful, it was purchased for $18.5 billion by a telehealth company in 2020. So they perfectly designed for the patient, consumer, and they deliver business results. Last pillar, trust is infrastructure. Now this brings us to another country in the EU, Estonia. They're incredibly digital savvy. And they actually built their entire national government in a digital way just 20 or so years ago. And from the start, they integrated healthcare into that thinking. It wasn't bolted on at the end. But despite the fact that they're very digitally native, of course, it still was fragmented, the data was in lots of different places, and they had to earn the trust with their citizens sharing data and information. So what they did, they built a blockchain foundation where they pulled all the fragmented data in a decentralized way that was secure, and then they gave full control to their citizens. I would love to have this. So all their data from all the hospitals, all the doctors they've been to in their entire life is in their control. They control who has access to that data. They go to a new doctor. They have to give consent. They're notified if someone asks for their healthcare information. That's control. And now they're certainly a role model for the world with regards to digital health data. And 99% of their health data is digital in this country. So again, this is an example of they didn't build and trust the end. This was integrated from the very, very beginning. So let's make this concrete and tangible. What can we do? My challenge to you is to reframe, just take a pilot. Don't have to do it now, but maybe in the coming days, and we can talk about it, through the 4 drivers, and ask ourselves these questions. Have we enabled our people to drive this? Are we solving a real problem, or are we chasing shiny tech? Is this a usable, lovable program or process? Would I want this for myself? And have we embedded ethics, trust, and transparency from the very, very beginning? And if not, how can we adjust the pilot to integrate these 4 things? So, the human algorithm is designed to be a people-first framework that enables human-centric transformation while delivering business results. By investing in culture and capability, by ensuring that we're choosing tech that has intent and purpose, by designing to delight humans so that we then have business results, and embedding trust from the very beginning. And you see real examples of this coming to life. And my hope is that all of you will take this framework and join me in applying it to create a more purpose-driven, human-centric industry by combining high tech with high humanity. Thank you for joining the Human Algorithm Conversation. Click to follow me on LinkedIn. Would love to hear any examples that you have from applying the framework, and let's shape the future together.